Welcome to this Python Beginner's Guide. In just 10 minutes, we'll walk through the basics to get you up and running. We'll start with the classic hello world. To see how Python works, then dive into variables and how they store information. We'll cover basic math operations, explore decision-making with conditions, and introduce loops to repeat actions. Finally, we'll look at functions to help structure your code. By the end, you'll have a solid foundation to start your Python journey. Let's get coding, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Open your web browser and search for Python. Click on the first link. Click on Download. Once finished downloading, run it. When you run it, it will open in a command prompt window, but it looks bad and ugly, so let's move on to the next step. Once Python is installed, you'll need a code editor. My personal favorite is PyCharm, but you can use any text editor like Sublime Text, VS Code, or even a simple notepad. Let's set it up and write our first Python program. Open up your web browser again and search for VS Code, but remember this is for people that want to use VS Code, PyCharm, and Sublime Fan Sitback. Then download it for Windows. Once you opened it, go to Extensions and install Python. Now PyCharm fans watch. Click on the first link. Click on Download. Guys, may I tell you something? Do not download the professional version. Instead, download the community version because the pro version is paid and the community version is free. Now Sublime Text fans watch. Then download it for Windows. Once you're finished downloading, open your code editor and create a new file. This little program will print hello world to the screen. In Python, print is used to output data. Let's run it and see what happens. Awesome, you just wrote your first Python program. Now, let's dive into some basic Python concepts like variables. Variables allow you to store data and you can use them throughout your code. Here, we've created two variables, name which holds a string and age which holds a number. Variables in Python don't require you to declare their type. making it very beginner-friendly. Python is great for doing basic math too. Let's look at some examples. Python can easily handle addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. There are other data types as well, like floats for decimal numbers, booleans for true or false values, and lists for storing multiple items. Now, let's learn about decision-making in Python with if and else statements. In this example, the code checks if x is greater than 5. If it is, it prints one message. Otherwise, it prints another. This is how Python makes decisions. Loops are super useful in programming because they allow you to repeat code multiple times. Let's look at a for loop and a while loop. A for loop repeats for a set number of times, while a while loop continues until a condition is no longer true. Functions let you group code into reusable blocks. Let's create a simple function. Here, we defined a function called greet, and when we call it, it prints subscribe, like. To the screen, functions help keep your code organized. One. Variables in Python. A variable in Python is like a container that holds data. It's named by the programmer and stores different types of values like numbers, text, lists, etc. Think of it as a label on a storage box. When you assign a value to a variable, you're putting something in the box, and the name is your way to refer to that value later on. Examples of variable types: integer, whole numbers like 5 or -23. Float, numbers with decimals like 5.67 or -0.1. String, text like hello, world. Boolean, true or false values useful in decision making. When you create a variable in Python, you can easily update its value. This flexibility is crucial when programming, as it allows data to change based on interactions or calculations in the program. 1. Variables I2. Math operations. Python supports basic math operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, which can be applied to variables. Math operations are essential in Python for calculations, whether it's simple arithmetic or complex formulas. Addition plus, subtraction, multiplication, asterisk, and division. Exponents are also supported, allowing you to raise numbers to a power, like squaring or cubing a number. Modulo percent is another operation that gives the remainder after dividing one number by another. Using these math operators with variables can dynamically change results and update values, which is especially useful for handling data and complex calculations. 3. Decision-making conditional statements. Decision-making in Python allows the program to respond differently based on conditions. This is done using conditional statements, primarily if, elif, and else. Conditions are evaluated as true or false, allowing Python to choose specific actions based on what it finds. For example, if statements executes a code block only if a specific condition is true. Elif-else if statements checks another condition if the first one is false. Else statements executes if none of the previous conditions were met. Conditionals are crucial for creating interactive and responsive programs where outcomes depend on user input or data properties. For functions, a function in Python is a block of reusable code that performs a specific task. Functions are important for organizing code, reducing repetition, and improving readability. Instead of writing the same code multiple times, you can define a function and call it whenever needed. Key parts of functions: defining. This is done with a name and parameters, optional variables that are inputs to the function. Calling. A function is called by its name, which runs the code inside it. Returning. Some functions provide results back to the code that called them using the return keyword. Functions help break down complex tasks into manageable parts and make code more modular and easier to debug. Congratulations, you've taken your first steps in Python programming. There's so much more to learn, like working with libraries, creating real-world projects, and solving more complex problems. If you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. Now it's time for you to start practicing. The best way to learn coding is by doing, so dive into writing your own Python programs. See you in the next video.